As a podcaster, your time is best spent behind the mic, having great conversations and delivering value to your audience. But after producing over 100 episodes myself, I recognized that the biggest thing keeping podcasters away from the mic was the hours of work that goes into everything else. Preparing for interviews, booking guests, episode planning, analyzing your analytics, publishing episodes, all of the back-end work that goes into making a show possible. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a tool that I built that helps you complete all of that back-end work in minutes instead of hours. I call it the Podcast Host Companion GPT. It is the tool that I wish I had when I was producing podcasts full-time, and it's going to provide the most value to solo podcasters or small podcast production agencies. However, I believe podcasts of all sizes will find value in this tool. If you're new here, my name's Ian, and on this channel, I share a new AI tool that I've built every single week. So if you're interested in that, hit subscribe. It's free, and you can always change your mind. Let's get into it. All right, so this tool is a GPT built using what I call the protocol method, where each protocol follows a step-by-step process to complete a specific task. So for this GPT, there are 6 protocols that it's trained on, and we're going to do a complete breakdown of each protocol. But first, I want to give you some insight into what working through a protocol with the GPT looks like. So we're going to use the Valiant Forge Companion GPT. This is a version of the Podcast Companion GPT that I built for Mark Osborne, the host of the Valiant Forge podcast. And we're going to publish an episode for Mark. So we're going to come to the tool, and we're going to either click the Publish Episode protocol button here, or we're just going to type Publish Episode or Publish Episode protocol, right? Just we have to say the corresponding trigger phrase, and then it will begin that protocol with the GPT. So step 1 of this protocol, when you're working through a protocol with this tool or with any GPT built using the protocol method, one of 2 things is going to happen at each step. 1, the GPT is either going to ask you for more context, or 2, it's going to present information to you for your review. And typically, all protocols start with requesting more context, like just some additional context that the GPT or the tool is going to need in order to complete that task. And then every subsequent step after that is typically the GPT generating information, presenting it to you for your feedback, and then moving on to the next step. So step 1 of the Publish Episode protocol is requesting the episode transcript. So I went and grabbed one for Mark's podcast, and we're just going to enter that here. Step 2 is going to be the GPT recommending SEO optimized title options for the podcast. And I'm just going to kind of work through this quickly just to be conscious of your time watching. So as you can see, we loaded in a transcript of the podcast episode, and it generates 5 title options pulled from the emotional core, just really from the podcast, right? So just reading through these, let's just say we like number 1, right? And this is where we could pause, give it more feedback, say, hey, I like 1, 2, and 3 best. Maybe can we come up with more options? But just for the sake of this example, we're just going to say number 1. So that's going to be the title that we're going to use. I was touched by God at the men's retreat, John's redemption story. Okay, so the next step after that is it's going to generate the show notes, so the description for the podcast episode. It's going to generate 500 characters worth of tags, which is the character limit for YouTube for the episode. It's going to recommend, and then it's going to recommend ideas for text that we should include in the thumbnail. So again, if we go back to the start of what we did here, so we initiated the Publish Episode protocol by just saying Publish Episode instead of typing out a perfectly curated prompt, telling it all about our podcast and here's who we are, here's what we do, and then I need your help publishing an episode and I want you to do these things, right? All we said was Publish Episode, and that started the protocol, which we're working through now, right? Step 1 was sharing the transcript, and then step 2 was generating the title ideas. Step 3 was the description and tags and thumbnail ideas. And let's just say everything looks good. Proceed. Okay, then step 4 is going to be generating the promotional content for email and LinkedIn, right? So if we wanted to send this episode out through an email newsletter, we could use this email. If we wanted to publish and share this episode on LinkedIn, we could do that using this copy here. Okay, so that was just a demonstration of what working with this GPT or this tool looks like for one of the protocols. Now I want to go through and show you all of the protocols that this GPT is trained to do. So at any point in working with this tool, you could just say something like, show me all protocols. And the tool will generate a comprehensive breakdown of all of the protocols that this GPT is built to execute. So we went through the Publish Episode protocol. The other protocols, there are 6 total. First is the prepare for interview protocol. So this protocol will ask you to provide the guest name and then any additional links for the guest. So the link to their website, social medias, any particular topics that you want to talk to this guest about. And then it'll generate a guest research report, so a comprehensive breakdown of who this guest is, their professional background, any of their core beliefs or opinions that they've shared in their content that you can dig deep into in the conversation, summaries of books and any other content that they've put out there. And then from there, once the guest research report is completed, the GPT is going to suggest potential conversation themes based on your podcast brand. And then when you select the conversation themes, like the things that you want to talk about with this guest on the show, the GPT is going to help create 8 to 10, or really it can be any custom number, but a list of questions that correspond with each conversation theme. And then once you've identified the conversation themes, the questions that you're going to ask the guest, or at least you're going to have prepared to ask the guest, as we all know in podcasts, all of those can kind of be thrown out the door sometimes. It's going to generate a scripted intro that you can use at the start of your episode. So that's prepare for interview protocol. Guest outreach will help you write personalized emails and DMs that you can use to help book guests. Publish episode protocol, we just went through that. Solo episode ideation protocol will help you as the podcast host or the podcast production team generate ideas for solo episodes that would resonate with your audience based on prior analytics, prior data, and just a breakdown and the GPT understanding who your target audience is. So it will help you identify excellent solo episode ideas and then generate comprehensive outlines for each of those episodes that you select and you want to create. 5th protocol here is the analytics analysis protocol. So you'll take in the analytics, you'll download the CSV file from YouTube or Buzzsprout or any other podcast publishing platform that you're using. You'll load it into this tool, and then it will generate analysis on, hey, here's what's working, here's what's not, and here's how we should adjust our strategy moving forward. Make more episodes that include things like this, make less episodes that include things like that, so on and so forth. And then we can update the brand blueprint and the knowledge base of this GPT so it's operating with that most up-to-date information. And that protocol will walk you through exactly how to do that. And then 6th, this is a fun one. This is the last protocol that I added, but it's called the crash course protocol. So what this protocol is for is if you are bringing a guest onto your podcast that's an expert in a subject matter that you're just not super familiar with. Like, for example, if I was to bring a guest onto a podcast that I was hosting who is a expert in physics, right? I don't really know much about physics or like rocket science. So this crash course protocol would give me just like a basic briefing in plain language and kind of introduce to me like what are the other subtopics within this area of expertise, just so I can get myself educated to the point to where I'm going to be able to conduct and facilitate a meaningful and intelligent conversation with that person about that subject matter. Just give me enough to be dangerous, I guess you could say. But that will just create like a guided experience where you can dig into and explore more deeply with this tool. So I'm not going to go through every single protocol with you. That's just kind of an overview of the protocols that are baked into this tool in its current version. This is just like the 1.0 founder version of this tool. So if you're watching right now, stop and let me know which of these protocols you think is the most beneficial for podcasters. And if there are any ideas for specific tasks that you would love this GPT or tool to be able to help you out with as a podcaster or a podcast production agency that I didn't think of. That feedback will be hugely beneficial, and I'll be able to add that into this tool and make it possible. Next up, I want to just talk about beyond the protocols. So not only is this tool going to be able to guide you through these structured protocol experiences, but as you can see down here at the bottom, right, this tool is still capable of any task that your favorite large language model can do, right? Your ChatGPT, it's still capable of everything that regular ChatGPT can do, or regular Grok, or regular Gemini, or regular whatever LLM you want. For example, like none of these protocols are related to monetization strategies, but we could come into this tool and say, brainstorm some monetization strategies for me, right? And it's still going to be capable of helping you out with those kinds of non-protocol related tasks, right? So you can see apparel line, one-to-one coaching or brotherhood groups, premium testimony or healing series, right? So it's coming up with monetization strategies that are related to your podcast brand and your target audience. So just bringing us back to the homepage of this tool, you can see that all of the protocols are just triggered using the corresponding trigger phrase, right? So if we wanted to prepare for interview, we just say something like prepare for interview protocol. Or if we wanted to come up with solo episode ideas, we just type something like solo episode ideation protocol, right? So just to kind of show you one last protocol in as an example, we'll do the solo episode ideation protocol. So I just click that conversation starter. And again, one of two things is ever going to happen. One, it's going to request more context, or two, it's going to generate information for your feedback. So step one of this protocol is it's sharing with us, hey, here's what we're going to do in this protocol. And then to get started, do you have any themes, insights, personal reflections you feel called to explore or share? Do you have a specific scripture? Obviously, this is tailored to the Valiant Forge, which is a Christian podcast for men. So if you don't have any ideas, you can just say proceed, right? And it will move on to generating solo episode ideas that are tailored for your target audience, right? So for Mark and the Valiant Forge, their target audience is older males who are kind of struggling to find purpose in their life and want to lean back into their faith, right, with Christianity. So these solo episode ideas are tailored directly to speak to that audience. So it generates a list of, 7 to 10, I think it's 5 to 10 ideas. And then from here, you would just look at these ideas and say, okay, you could give it feedback and say, hey, I like 1, 3, and 5. Can you generate 10 more ideas like that, right? But just for the sake of this example, we're just going to say 1, 3, and 5, right? So now that we selected the solo episode ideas that we want to create, this tool is going to walk us through the process of generating a comprehensive episode outline for each of those selected episode ideas, right? So this first one, when you feel spiritually numb, a raw reflection on what to do when your faith feels distant or lifeless, and how God meets us in the silence, right? So this tool now is generating the episode outline for that solo episode, right? So here are the core takeaways. Here's what the introduction should be. Here are going to be the talking points that Mark goes through in this solo episode. And then here's an optional CTA that he can use in that episode. Now, at this point, you could give it feedback, say, hey, I want to actually talk about these things, or go back and forth with the tool for a little bit to lock in this outline. Or if it looks good, we can just say proceed, and it'll move on to generating the outline for the second episode. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. This really is a tool built by a podcast producer for podcasters and other podcast producers. If you're watching this video as a part of the onboarding experience for the Podcast Host Companion GPT, awesome. I'm really excited to have you here and to get this tool built for you and to get it plugged into your workflows to help you create more content and deliver more value to your audience. If you found this video on YouTube and you want to try this tool out for yourself, click the link in the pinned comment below and I'll send you all of the information that you need. This tool I am planning on keeping at founder pricing for a couple more months. I just want to get this in as many people's hands as possible to get all of that feedback and continue to improve the tool over time. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.